Very good evening. Today we are going to discuss about that seed legislation system in India. So if we were getting into that, I wanted to recollect that previous class. So that previous class we were discussed about that seed supply systems in India and also the agency with reference to that seed movement at international level and and their functions, all those things discussed. So based on our previous discussions, we come to know that we have a Pakka system with reference to development of the variety and under plant breeding sections. So they are working for development of variety and hybrids. After that, that will undergo that series of evaluations like initial evaluation trial, then RYT, replicator yield trial, then MLT, ART, like that. That will undergo series of evaluation. As an outcome of that, only that superior material alone is released as a variety either at a national level or at a state level. So for the release of that variety also we have a state variety release committee and a central variety release committee. So and members of that committee also we were discussed. So after release of that variety, that will be subjected to that notifications. So that notification is mainly taken care by that central government, particularly that central seed committee is responsible for giving a notifications. Once that material is notified, automatically that material will enter into the seed supply system. So in order to produce and supply the seeds, we are following that generation system of seed multiplications. So under generation system of multiplication, we have a different class of seeds like breeder seed, foundation seed and certified seeds. And the number of generation also will vary from crops to crop. So that is mainly based on the pollination behavior of the crops and seed multiplication ratio and seed demand. So for example, in the case of groundnut, that seed multiplication ratio is low and strictly self-pollinated one, and seed demand is more. So because of that, in that case we are following 5 generation system. So we have a generation systems. So in order to have a well advanced planning, so we were also discussed about that seed planning. So seed planning also we have to plan well ahead. So suppose you are going to supply that certified seed in the year 2023 means now you have to plan. Now you have to develop a plan, seed production plan. That plan also otherwise called as a rolling plan. So this rolling plan and the seed production plan, everything is taken care by the ICAR. So for that production purpose, planning purpose, they are mainly rely upon that Indian Institute of Seed Research, that IISR. So they are rely upon. So like that we have a Pakka systems. So we have a breeders for developing a variety, and for multiplication purpose we have a seed technologist, and for end user that the farmers also there. Apart from that, if you want to export your material to other country, that international seed certification system also there. That is one of the system is OECD. They are working for international seed certification systems. Similarly, that AOSCA, they are also responsible for international seed certification systems. Other than that, that ISTA also, they are also giving a seed certificate, not a seed certification system. They are giving a seed certificate. In addition to that, they are working for development of the seed testing protocols. They are also working for achieving uniformity with reference to seed testing throughout the world. So they are also working. Then other than that, we have another agency, that is UPAVU. So that UPAVU, they are working for the protection of the intellectual ideas of one individual, particularly the breeders. Intellectual ideas, intellectual property need to be protected. So the protected. So by the way of giving some sort of protections, that breeders also going to get some monetary benefit. So this will create a competition among the breeders who develop a really superior variety. So in that angle, that UPAVU also they are working. The above all, another institute, that is another agency, that is that is IPPC, that is prevention, that is a prevention of the entry of the pest and diseases from one country to other country, along with the plant or plant products like seeds. So that also very important. So like that, for each and every aspects, already at a global level and national level, we develop a PACA systems. So everything is in order, no problem. If anyone try to do some malpractice or fraudulent work, so that ultimately affect our total systems. Under this case, say example, the given that the producer, they will do some mistakes with reference to that purity level. After knowing that that the quality of the seed is inferior, some of them may convert that seed into a grain. Some of them try to hide, and they will put up a label and try to sell, so that farmers ultimately get affected. So under that conditions, that farmers interest should be protected, because they are paying money. After that only they are getting the seeds. So that whatever that's the material they purchase in the name of seed, that should be that should be quality wise good. So then only the farmer will enjoy the full benefit of cultivating that particular material, or otherwise that will be a very big loss for the farmers. So under that situations, so the farmer interest need to be protected. Similarly, and that whatever may be the person, whatever that agency involved in the total seed production and supply system, their business should be protected, their genuinity should be protected. They should not get cheated by anyone. So in order to have this kind of setups, we need to have set up rules and regulations in order to regulate all these operations, starting from the varietal development to the reaching of the seeds to the farmers. We need to have rules and regulations. So all those rules and regulations need to be legally governed. So legally governed. If at all any issues, any problems, any fraudulent work, the affected person should get some compensations through the honorable court. So under that intention only, almost all the country, they develop so many legislations. So in India also, we have so many legislations like Seed Act, and followed by some amendments also they made it. Then seed rules 1968, that case also they made some amendments. Then seed control order, plants, fruits and seeds order, plant quarantine order, new policy on seed development, protection of plant varieties and farmers rights act, national seed policy, and the seed bill. Like that we have so many legislation. So all these things mainly to prevent the any kind of malpractice, starting from production to the cultivation operation. So that is very important. So everything is legally governed, everything is passed in the parliament and accepted. As per this legal provision only, our total seed industry is functioning nowadays. Particularly that the Seed Act, that is at a base for establishment of the Indian seed industry. So whatever the provisions are available in the Seed Act, based on that provision only, we were created that Indian seed industry. So today we are going to discuss about in detail about that Seed Act, and subsequent classes the remaining legislations we are going to discuss in detail. So before getting into that Seed Act, I want to recollect some informations regarding that previous our discussions. So in the first class itself, I told you that India is the 5th largest seed market in the world. So that India that handling that material to the worth of 2000 billion US dollar. So and according for 4.4% of the global seed market, the topmost one is the US, and the next one is China, France, Brazil. Next to Brazil, India is the 5th largest seed market in the world. And also we achieved that in terms of global trade, India has almost achieved self-sufficiency with reference to flour, fruits, vegetable and field crop seed production. And also we realize the importance of the usage of the quality seeds with reference to food grain production, oil seed production and everything. And that first class itself I shown one table. The table that side by side that quality seed production distribution increasing, simultaneously that food grain production also increasing. So based on that, we realize that importance of the quality seeds and their contribution towards the success of the crop production. So 15 to 20% of the crop production success mainly rely upon the that quality of seeds used for sowing purpose. Then another main thing also, that it is important to maintain the purity and quality through various stages of the seed production. So we have to maintain. So even though whether it's a breeder seed or a foundation seed or registered seed or certified seed, all the seeds should be specified with certain standards with reference to physical purity and genetic purity. If it is a breeder seed, we have to maintain 100%. Foundation seed, we have to maintain that 99% physical purity and genetic purity, and certified 98% we have to maintain in most of the cases. Now all the stages we have to maintain, so then only the system will be pakka. So apart from that, the year 1963 only, the government of India, they started NSC, National Seed Corporation, mainly for the purpose of production and distribution of the quality seeds to the farmers. At the time only, they realized the importance of the seed legislations with reference to quantity and quality of the seed productions. So mainly that seed production activity is taken care by the Ministry of Agriculture. The major operation is governed by the public sector, and after that only they realized and started to formulate so many legislations. All those legislations are placed in the parliament, so everything is accepted. So as per the legislations, whatever the rules and regulations are given, nowadays we are following that rules and regulations in the area of quality seed production and distribution and marketing sites. So all those things we are going to discuss one by one. That is a Seed Act, seed rules, seed control order, new policy on seed development, fruits and things, and the PPFRA and the Essential Commodities Act, including seeds. Originally that seed is not there in the Essential Commodity Act. Later only they included under the essential commodities. Then we are also going to discuss about the National Seed Policy and Seed Bill 2004, and latest recently they revised that one, and again they resubmitted in the year 2019, about to accept in the parliament. Once it is accepted, we can expect some kind of changes in the already existing system of the seed certification, quality control and all those operations. So the main purpose of all those legislations are to take care of the seeds, and its quality, right from the production, marking, labeling and marketing level, right from production, marking, labeling and marketing level, to maintain the quality standard as a prescribed norms. So these laws are framed in order to make availability of the quality seeds to the farmers. So we are working for giving a quality seeds to the farmers, and also we have to train the farmers to approach authority for getting justice through all these legislations. So two things are very, very important. So mere following these legislations, we are going to ensure supply of quality seeds to the farmers. Again, we are also make the farmers to aware of all these legislations in view of getting some sort of compensation through court in case of any fraudulent work take place in the seed production and distribution in the angle of the quality sites. So that is a ultimate thing. So in that angle, you people also must know that various legislations and their rules and regulations. Genuinely you can run your if you wanted to start up your industry, you can run your industry without any problem. If you are going to purchase a seed material for your farm operation purpose, means if at all any problem is there, if you know that legislation, automatically you can approach the court for getting that compensation and all. So in that angle, these particular things will be useful. So let us start with the Seed Act. So in the SST 201 course itself, we were studied in detail that the Seed Act. I hope all of you remember that story. I told you about that Seed Act in order to remember and recollect all the 25 sections. That story also I made it in Tamil. So I hope everybody knows know that story and know that each and every section and corresponding things. So with that knowledge, we can discuss today that all the sections one by one, whatever that originally given, and also side by side we are going to discuss some amendments. So that year 1972, some changes they were introduced based on our experience in the seed industry and based on the demands. They made some revisions. So that also we are going to discuss today. So you people are, I didn't know that Seed Act is passed in the Parliament in 1966. So this consists of 25 sections. And so all the 25 sections that give some sort of provision for the provision for creation of various agency related to that seed certification, seed testing, and seed marketing, and also they given provision for appointment of the various committees and various officials, particularly that seed inspector, seed analyst, so and appointment of committee like central seed committee and central seed certification committee, state certification committee, notification committee, like that they given a provisions. So based on that provisions available in the Seed Act, they created total seed certification systems and quality regulation systems and marketing related setups. So in the Seed Act, almost all the act and that first sections that always deal about dedication or declarations. And like that of any movie, the first screen will be we are dedicating this particular movie my parents, like that. So like that this also an act of India. So because of that, the first section that deal about we are declare or we are extending this particular act the whole of India to regulate seeds. So that is that section 1. Section 2 of the Seed Act that give definitions. In the case of movie, the next first slides will be some dedications. The second things will be character introductions. So this particular person acted as this in this name, like that in the previous movie, in the older movie and all, you can see like that. So here also they given a definition for the various officials and various materials used for that seed production and that testing and certification and labeling purpose. Say example, definition for seed producers, definition for seed growers, a definition for farmers, and definition for seed analysts, a definition for seeds, definition for that LFR, like that. For all the terminologies related to that seeds, they given definitions. Regarding that seeds, definitions also there. Actually in the section 2 that contains 16 classes, that among the 16 classes, that class 11 that give that related to that definition for seeds. So as per class 11 section 2 of the Seed Act, the definition for seed is that seeds of food crops including edible oil seeds, seeds of fruits, vegetables, cotton seeds, seeds of cattle fodder, and includes seedlings, tubers, pulps, rhizomes, roots, cuttings, all type of crops and other vegetatively propagated materials of food crops or cattle fodder. Like that they given definitions. So this is a definition. So seed means it's not only that seeds. So this includes the tubers, pulps, that all the material used for propagation will comes under the seeds. And also they narrow down that specific material also, like edible oils, fruit crops, vegetable, cotton, cattle fodder, and food crops, like that. but in that they forgotten to include that jute seeds and all, because jute also commercially cultivated, particularly in the West Bengal area. That also we have a notified variety. There also we are following that generation system of seed multiplication. So previously, because of non-inclusion of that jute, the word jute seeds, we are not able to produce that the quality seeds. So after knowing this, by the way of amendment, that Seed Act was amended in the year 1972 on 9th September. At the time, they included jute seeds also in the class 11 and subsection 4. Jute seeds also included. Till date, already we have discussed. So here there is the seed definition. They were not included, that the forestry seed material and herbs and shrubs, all those things are not there. By these times we have a seed material in the forestry seeds, and also we have a seed material of the herbal plants. But in all those cases, we are not able to produce any quality seeds. That is mainly because of those seeds and all not included in the section 2 and the class 11 this Seed Act. So these are all the major lag as far as that Seed Act is concerned. So this and all we are going to modify in the seed bill. So in the seed bill section we can discuss this one. So coming back to our discussion, so section 2, that is mainly deal about tell about the definition for the various officials and various terms related to that seed production and certifications and testing and marketing. Then section 3, so this is very important section and also heart of the Seed Act, because this is in this section 3 that deal about a central seed committee. So that the central seed committee is the topmost authority with reference to that the matter of seeds, and if at all anything needed for the government side with reference to that seeds, they will seek the advice of the central seed committee. So that central seed committee is the topmost governing authority. They are responsible for effective implementation of the Seed Act in our country, and also they are responsible for dealing any matter related to seeds in India. So that is a very vital committee. So here there is 7 classes are there. Out of 7 classes, the class 2 that give information regarding that the members of central seed committee. So members of central seed committee, so that the central seed committee comprises of a chairman. So the chairman is nominated by the central government. So chairman nominated by the central government. Apart from chairman, 8 persons, again that all the 8 persons are nominated by the central government. In that and nominated by the central government. In that not less than 2% shall be a representative of the seed growers. So here the seed growers are also included as a member of the central seed committee. So 2 representation is there for seed grower. And then apart from that 8 members, 1 person to be nominated by the government of each of the states. So 1 person to be nominated by the government of each of the states. So this is members and chairmen of the central seed committee is concerned. Other classes that is mainly deal about the formation of subcommittee and their tenures and making laws and bylaws for the effective implementation of this particular Seed Act in our country. So section 3 that is mainly deal about that constitution of a central seed committee. That central seed committee is the topmost authority with reference to effective implementation of the Seed Act in our country. So that is a main thing. Then section 4 and that is deal about that central seed laboratory as well as state seed laboratory. So here that provisions are available for the establishment of the central seed laboratory and state seed laboratory. So here the 2 classes are there. So by the central government, state government in consultation with the central government, they declare any of the laboratory as a state seed testing laboratory. With reference to central seed testing laboratory, initially that started in the Department of Botany in IRI. Then after that, the Seed Science and Technology Laboratory of Seed Science and Technology Division of the IRI serves as a central seed testing laboratory. Now that NSRDC, National Seed Research and Training Center, serving as a central seed testing laboratory. In addition to that, NSRDC for testing of the GMOs, particularly for PT cotton, that the government of India, they recognized that National Cotton Research Institute, Nagpur, as a central seed testing laboratory with reference to checking the quality parameters of that PT cotton seed or GMO seeds. So totally we have two number of central seed testing laboratory. One is NSRDC, another one is a national the Central Cotton Research Institute, Nagpur. Apart from that, I think 143 number of state seed testing laboratories are there in India. The more number of laboratories, state seed testing laboratories are there in Tamil Nadu. I think it's a 44 or 43 number. So all those laboratories and all created as per the provisions available in the Section 4 of the Seed Act. So then section 5, so this is also very important, like that of section 3. So this is a very important. So here that section 5 that give some sort of empowerment for the central seed committee for notification of the variety found suitable as per the act after the notification in the official gazettes. So this is a notification. So section 5 that mainly deal about the notification of the variety. So once that variety is notified under section 5 of the Seed Act, automatically that material, variety or hybrid, become a property of India. So that material alone will enter into the seed supply chain or generation system of seed multiplication. In that case only we can produce that breeder seed, foundation seed and certified seed and all. So section 5 also very important. So that notification power is mainly rests with the central seed committee, whether it's a state variety or central variety. So for notification purpose we have to send a proposal to the central seed committee. So that is a authority. Then section 5 and that give a power to the central seed committee to fix minimal limit of germination and purity standard for a variety to be notified. So whatever may be the variety notified, so for that for sale of that one or for the purpose of producing quality seeds, in that case we have to fix the minimal limit with reference to germination and purity. So that the minimal limit for germination and purity and all fixed as per the section number 6 of the Seed Act. If at all any quality issues arises, so they will compare whatever that the provisions are available in the section number 6. The limit, everything is given in detail in the section number 6. So and that the seed quality is on par with that standard prescribed in the section 6 of the Seed Act, that will be accepted for seed purpose, or otherwise that will be rejected from the seed purpose. So that is a section 6. Then section 7, so that deal about the regulation of seed sales of the notified varieties. So as per the Indian Seed Act, as per the section 7 of the Indian Seed Act 1966, the labeling is compulsory. So labeling is compulsory, certification is voluntary. So if you wanted to produce certified seed, means you can have that seed with that certified tag that should carry that label also. So in the case of certified seed material, we can have two things. One is a certificate, blue color certificate. In addition to that also have labels. Whereas in the case of TFL category, that should have a label. So label must be there. So these and all things and all available in the section 7 of the Seed Act. And also in the label, they have to reveal the true identity of the variety, germination and purity level, everything they have to furnish in the label. So that also very important. So that things are there in the section 7 of the Seed Act. Then section 8, and that mainly deal about constituting a certification agency for undertaking the process of the certifications. So here only that the SEED Act give a provision for establishment of the certification agencies, both for state government in consultation with the central government. They can establish certification agency in the state mainly to carry out the function of the certification seed certification as per the functions narrated in this particular act. So in this particular act, originally at the time of introduction, this particular thing alone there. After introduction of this particular SEED Act, so based on the experience and expert opinion, that amendment was took place during the year 1972. So through this amendment, they inserted 5 number of new sections in the name of 8A to 8E, 8A, 8B, C, D, E, like that 5 sections they were introduced. Out of 5 sections introduced, the 8A itself they introduced some 3 subclasses, 8A1, 8A2, 8A3, like that they introduced. That 8A1 that mainly deal about that the central government is empowered to establish central seed certification board, whereas originally that the provisions are there for creation of the state seed certification board. So through that amendment, the 8A and subclass 1, central government shall establish a central seed certification board mainly to advise the central government and state government with reference to any matter regarding that certification, and to coordinate the functions of the agency established under section 8. So any matter related to certification, and also to coordinate the functions of the agencies created under section 8. The agency created under section 8 are state seed certification agency. So for that purpose, 8A and subclass 1, central government is empowered to establish a central seed certification board. Then 8A subclass 2, that members of central seed certification board, that details also given. Already we were discussed that central seed committee and their members in the section 3. Like that, in the 8A subclass 2, that give information regarding that members of the central seed certification agency. Here also a chairman nominated by the central government and 4 members to be nominated by the government of India. So that eligible person for these nominations are the person working in the state government as a director of agriculture. The person working in the state government as a director of agriculture is eligible to become a member. These nominations also, the government of India alone is responsible for nominating the members. Apart from that 4 members, another 3 members to be nominated by the government of India from the person employed by the agriculture university as a director of research. So director of research working in the agriculture universities are eligible to become member. Under this case, again here these members also nominated by the government of India. Like that of central seed committee, here also 13 persons are nominated. Out of 13 persons, and that 4 person, not less than 4 person, shall be representative of the seed producer or tradesman. So seed producer or tradesman is also included in the central seed certification system. So this is regarding that 8A subclass 2. Then 8A subclass 3, that deal about that tenure. So how long they can hold the post. So whoever may be the member, how long they can hold the post. So as per this particular subclass, they can hold the office for about 2 years. So 2 years term. So that is a 8A and subclass 3. And then this is a section 8A. Then 8B, so that is things related to the board. If at all they wanted to have a subcommittee they can form a subcommittee by the way of already available members, or they can get some other members, or partly already available members and partly new members, like that. And that provision is made available for the formation of a subcommittee in order to effective implementation of the seed certification systems as per the act. Then 8C, that given clear information, no proceedings of the board or any committee thereof shall become invalid at any cost, any time, any matter, any reason. None of these proceedings of the board or committee is invalid. Once that proceedings are prepared and circulated, or once a committee is formulated, that committee and proceedings, everything is valid. And 8D, so this give a power for this central seed certification board to make bylaws for the purpose of regulating its own procedures and procedures of any committee. So if at all they wanted to have some regulations with reference to that seed certification, means they can make a law. They can make the law. With the help of that particular law, they can go for effective implementation of this particular thing. So that things are there in the 8D. So the central included during the revisions. Then 8E, the committee is formulated, central seed certification committee is formulated. For effective functioning of the committee, a secretarial service also need to be provided. So that things are there in the 8E. So the central government, they are responsible for appoint a person to be a secretary for the board, and also this board should be given with technical and staff, other staffs. So this will be taken care by the central government. So these provisions also there in the 8E. So these are all the things with reference to that is section 8. So once again I want to recollect all these information. So section 8, so that is related to that creation of the, originally it's a creation of the state seed certification agency in consultation with the central government. After through amendment, so 5 things were included. So all those things already were discussed. So this is section 8 mainly deal about that things related to creation of the seed certification agencies. Then section number 9, so that is regarding that grant of certificate by the certification agency. So that the power is given for the certification agency to give a certificates if at all that material fulfill the criteria laid down in the section number 6 of the Seed Act. Section number 6 of the Seed Act, that is related to fixing of minimum limits for germination and purity. If at all these seeds that fulfill the criteria laid down in the section 6 of the Seed Act, as per the section number 9, the certification agency, they can give certificates. So this particular section 9 has 3 subsections. Here also some ratification, some additions was carried out through amendment that on 1972, 9th September. So the revisions are and the amendments in section 9 of the Principal Seed Act. These things are there. In subsection 3, the word, bracket, letter and figure, the minimum limits of germination purity specified for the seed under class, like that is there. Instead of writing this, through this amendment, they recommended to include this word alone, prescribed standards. If at all that material have a prescribed standards, automatically you can give a certificate, like that. They amended this particular thing. Again, if it is given a standard, means the people may interpret in another way. So in order to avoid that loophole also, again, that the following things also they added under section 9. So those things are provided that standards shall not be lower than the minimum limit of germination purity specified for the seed under class 6 of the Seed Act. So the provided the standard shall not be lower than the minimum limit. So like that they given. So I want to recollect this one. So originally this is available in the section number 9. And this is somewhat confusing. So in order to avoid that confusions, so decided to leave all these matter and decided to give that prescribed standard word alone. Again, in order to check that misinterpretation of the standard, they included these things also. Shall not be lower than the minimal limits. So this and all some legal things. So that kind of amendments they introduced in the year 1972 through amendment of the Seed Act. So this is regarding that section number 9. Section number 9, that is mainly deal about the grant of certificates by the certification agency after verifying the quality standards as per the section number 6 of the Seed Act. Then section number 10, that empowerment of the certification agency for revocation of the certificate. If at all that the agency is convicted or that person that seed producer misrepresentation of the sample or any fraudulent work, under this case that certification agencies are empowered to revocate the certificates. Revocate the certificate, and also this also give a provision for the opportunity to show cause. Show cause is given. Show cause is given, so that before revocation of the certificate, that seed inspector or seed certification officials, they have to give a warning. You are doing this kind of work. We are receiving a complaint, like that we have to give some notice. If at all that persons do that mistake again means, at the time you can go for that revocation of the certificate. So that is a section number 10. So once you go for that revocations, that affected person, definitely they will go for that appeal. So that is there in the section number 11. So section number 11, provision for appeal. So here that affected person should approach the appeal within 30 days from the date of decision is communicated to him. Within 30 days from the date on which the decision is communicated to him, along with the prescribed fee. So after receipt of that appeal along with that fee, so that will be discussed and verified. So accordingly the action will be taken. So that section number 11 is provision for appeal. Then section number 12, so this is related to that appointment of the seed analyst. So as per that section number 12 only, seed analyst will be appointed. So seed analyst person responsible for conducting the seed testing in the seed testing laboratory. So they are the authority. Then section number 13, that is mainly deal about the appointment of the seed inspector. So seed inspector, normally seed inspector deemed to be a public servant within the meaning of section 21 of the Indian Penal Code. They are appointed under section 21 of the Indian Penal Code. So seed inspector is responsible for regulation and monitoring of the seed quality in the market level. Then section number 14, that is power of the seed inspector. So this particular section mainly deal about how to take the samples from the sellers or purchaser point of view, and what are the things they can examine. So that seed inspector, they are empowered to examine the records maintained by the seed sellers and the registers, stock registers and the stocks, and everything they can verify. If everything is in order, there won't be any problem, or otherwise they can seize the property and they can issue a stop sale order. Once that stop sale order is issued, that particular person can't sell any of the material, and also they put up a seal. So that stop sale order is valid for 30 days. Within 30 days of period of time, if at all that problem is rectifiable, that concerned seller, they have to rectify the problem. Again they have to invite the inspector to verify. So once that inspector is satisfied, they can revoke the stop sale order, or otherwise they can seize the property, all the property. After that they have to communicate that information to the magistrate of that particular district. So that is a very important. if at all that seed inspector going to take any action against that particular seed seller at the time, and that the seed inspector need to ensure the presence of two persons presence of 2% and need to be there. Apart from that, they have to prepare a memorandum that some forms are there, form 6, form 7, form 4, like that some things are there. So in that they have to get the signature from the two persons. So that is very very important. And also that seed inspector, they are empowered to search in the premises where in which that fraudulent seed material is kept. So and also they can issue a warrant also as per under the section 98 of the Indian Penal Code. So these are all the power of the seed inspector. So the main role of the seed inspector is regulation of seed quality, regulation of quality of the seeds sold in the market. Then section 15, so these procedures need to be followed by the seed inspector. So here what are the things they have to follow with reference to taking the sample. If at all the person accepted for taking that sample, means they have to take the sample. That should be divided into 3. One will be given to that seed seller, one will be written by the seed inspector, another one will be sent to the seed testing laboratory for analysis purpose. So whatever that seed taken for testing purpose, for that they have to make that seed inspector need to make a payment also. Suppose the person not permitting that seed inspector to enter into the shop, means the seed inspector about to break open the door, break open the container, and they can take the sample. Under that condition, what they have to do is they have to invite two common people living in this particular premises. So in the presence of them, they have to take the sample. That sample should be divided into 3. They have to give one sample to the seed seller. If at all that particular person not ready to accept that particular sample, means that the seed inspector communicate these information to the seed analyst. So under this case, seed analyst, whatever that sample received from the seed inspector, in this case they have to divide the sample into 2. One is used for seed analysis purpose, another one is put it in a storage under controlled conditions. So this is the things. So these are the things are there in the section number 15 of the Seed Act. Then section number 16. So this is mainly deal about that responsibility of the seed analyst. So that responsibility, everything is given here. So as per this particular section, so they have to that seed analysis, they have to conduct the test, seed quality test. So that results should be communicated within 30 days. Within 30 days, 1 month from the receipt of the sample. So that is very very important. If at all any dispute regarding that seed analysis, under that situations, that concerned producers, they will approach the court. Under this case, the court will send the sample to the central seed testing laboratory. So whatever that result given by the central seed testing laboratory, that is the final. So based on that action will be taken. So this is with reference to section number 16. Section number 17 of the Seed Act, that is mainly deal about import and export. So now we are importing material from the other country. Similarly, we are also started to export our material to other country, particularly the Asian country we are exporting. And the first slide itself, the first class itself, I told you we are exporting our material to the other country, particularly the Bangladesh. We are exporting more amount of OC material. Next to Bangladesh, we are sending our material to the Philippines and Pakistan and all. So under this case also, we have to check the quality standards of the material as per the section number 6 of the Seed Act. If at all that material fulfill the minimum limit of germination and purity, that is laid down under section number 6, we can permit them to import the material. If at all the material is not on par with our quality standards, means we can restrict the import of the material. That is available in the section number 17 of the Seed Act. Section number 18, that is mainly deal about the affiliation of certification agencies working in the foreign countries on behalf of India. Suppose some person they may produce seed in other countries. After production, that material may be transferred to the India. So during production itself, that material need to be field inspection, everything need to be carried out. So for that purpose, the government of India and the central government, on recommendation of the Central Seed Committee, that the government of India, they empower to affiliate foreign agency, certification agency of foreign countries for this purpose. So that is the section number 18. Then section number 19, and so this is also important section with reference to a punishment for the fraudulent work. If anybody committing mistakes, but is particularly if anyone sell the inferior quality seeds or hiding the quality of the seeds, means if they catch hold of them by seed inspector, and that seed inspector can put up a fine of 500 rupees for the first offense. The same person commit the mistakes, and the second time, means at the time that the person may be given with 6 months jail or fine of 1,000 or both. That will be decided by the officials. So that is there in the section number 19. Then section number 20, so that is mainly deal about the forfeiture of the property, particularly here the property is the seeds. So if the patal any person convicted under this act, so the material and everything will be brought under the custody of the seed inspector. That information will be communicated to the magistrates. So if the material is totally inferior in quality, means that will be destroyed. So this is there in section number 20. Then section number 21, punishment of offense made by the companies or corporates. So that section number 19, and that deal about that punishment for the person for the company held by individuals. Whereas now we have a multinational company. In the case of multinational company, so many number of board of directors, like that, so many owners will be there. So under this case, if at all any problem arises, who will be given with the punishment? That is a question. So under for this purpose, here that section number 21, that clearly says that every person who was in charge and was responsible for the company shall be deemed to be guilty of the offense and punished accordingly. So at the time of offense was committed, whoever may be, whatever may be the number of person as a in charge and holding the responsibility of the company, all the persons are punishable under this particular act. That is there in the section number 21 of this particular act. So section number 22, so this is somewhat related to that officials working for the benefit of that farming community, particularly that seed certification officials, central seed committee, seed analysis, seed inspector, everybody working for ensuring supply of quality seed to the farmers. If at all that seed inspector or something that committed some mistakes, and their things should be protected. So here the protection of government, action taken in good faith. No prosecution or legal proceedings will lie against government or any government officers. So that is very, very important. Here I wanted to tell you, suppose that inspector, they are taking the sample from one particular person, and after taking that sample will be submitted to the seed testing laboratory. The sample is found to be good, means that inspector can't take anything. So under that times, that the seed seller may file a complaint. By the way of taking sample, this fellow spoiled my images, like that. That may there is a chance for filing of the prestigious case and all. So under this case, there is a chance for that seed inspector get punished. So in order to protect that officials involved in the seed certification system and seed quality regulation systems, this particular thing is very, very useful. So section number 22, that is mainly for the officials working in this particular seed sector. Then section number 23, so this is power given for the central government to take to give a direction for the state governments for smooth conduct of this particular act. So the power is given for the central government to give a direction for the state government for smooth running and all. That section number 24 also very important. So here that farmers are exempted. So the exchange of seed between the farmers, they no need to go for labeling, no need to go for that checking the germination, all those things. The farmers are free to exchange the seed material. The farmers are totally exempted from this particular act. So that is there in the section number 24. And then section number 25. A power of the government to make rules. Now and then they can make rules with reference to effective function of the Central Seed Committee, Central Seed Testing Laboratory, Seed Certification Agency, and Seed Inspector. So that is there in that. Apart from that, some words also they made some modifications. So that is there in the amendment. So this is not that much important. So with that we are completing that seed act. So seed act is the backbone of our Indian seed industry. So based on the provisions available in the Indian the seed act 1966, Indian seed industry was created. As on date we are following that each and every sections for production and supply of quality seeds to the farmers. So that is there. I hope all of you know that story, Tamil story. So if you are able to remember and recollect well and good, otherwise I can repeat that particular story while whenever we meet in the classrooms. So with that we are completing that seed act. So from the subsequent classes we are going to discuss about that remaining legislations. So in the assignments section today I posted that model exam date. So whatever the things we are going to discuss up to that tomorrow most probably I will try to produce that video file for that seed rules. So up to that we can have a model exam. Just to make an attempt. Now all of you are free only, so you have enough time to read. So try to prepare. Already I circulated that word file also. So all of you go through that and get ready for the exam in absolute type in a Google Forms. So all the best for your first exams. So regarding the seed act, if you have any queries, any doubt, you can post all your queries in the Google Classrooms. I will ready to clarify your doubts. Thank you very much.